I'm pretty proud of us. I feel like we've made the conviction that no poop stories last time, and we followed through. Like, honestly, part of me was like, you'll never pull this off. One's gonna pop up. But good job, you know.
Are you saying that to you or me?
I don't know.
Okay. Because I'm not, I'm not the poop one.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna do that now. Okay. So, anyways, that'll be our introduction from now on. Hi, it's me, the poop one, Ian, and my co-host Brandon Schrader.
Not the poop one.
Holier than thou.
No, I'm proud too. Don't worry.
I'm a proud pooper.
I do poop proudly.
Hey everybody, guess what I'm about to do? And your roommates are like, I'm trying to sleep.
No. I have to tell you this first.
Yeah. Shh. Hey everybody, shh. Listen. Welcome to another episode of Some People Like Us. My name is Ian Gill. I'm your host. This is Brandon Schrader, my co-host.
Hello.
We're 4 episodes in, and every time I introduce Brandon, he nods at me. But this time,
I forget.
He had the afterthought to say hello.
Yeah, I forget that people can't see me.
Well, they're not filming us yet. They have. I hear tell that they realized how handsome of boys we are. And that may be something that's coming in the near future. Mm-hmm. So hopefully people will be able to see the rosiness in our cheeks and embarrassment on our face.
And you and I are hitting the gym,
dude.
Tomorrow,
I hit the gym yesterday because the brakes went out of my car, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to get out of here! I don't have insurance on this car." The guy was like, "I don't have insurance on this gym. Let's all pretend this never happened." Eagle Man showed up, and we both were like, "He's gonna fucking say something to someone," so we roughed him up real good.
And he said, I have something for you, and then pooped.
And I was like, no. I was like, I got something for you, and I elbowed him right in the beak. Turns out an eagle man is even more in danger than a regular eagle, and I am in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think there was only one.
Dude, well, there was an eagle woman, too. And if I wouldn't have manslaughtered eagle man, potentially they could have mated and carried on their species, and now it's
just a
whole
widow.
Thing. Yeah. She's like, look at them, lower him into his grave. I was like, no, it's those low rates. And she's like, why are you doing this? Why'd you come here? It was ugly. It was ugly for everyone involved. So today, I thought we would talk about I feel like this is a universal experience, but maybe it's just because the kind of person I am and the kind of people that we know. But, like when I was going to say you're trying to stay with your group at a show or a festival or a gathering, but I feel like deep down inside you're kind of not.
Yeah. I like to wander off.
This is an opportunity for an adventure.
I'm really good at like, I'll wander off and everybody will be worried about me. And I just like, I find my way back. Like I take note of where they're at. Mm-hmm. They have no idea where I'm at.
Right.
Because I like to explore a little bit.
They think I got lost because I'm all fucked up and an idiot, but in reality it's like I'm fucked up and an idiot, but I got lost on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm less fucked up and less of an idiot than the rest of you guys because I know where you are.
Right. My group got lost. I didn't get lost.
Right, yeah. You guys lost me. Big mistake. I at a fish show at Deer Creek, whatever the hell it's called now, fucking Potbelly Sandwich Works Music Center, whoever currently has decided that they're sponsoring it. It was me and members of my family and friends, and everybody took mushrooms, and it was amazing, and it was a great time. And at the end of the first set, I seriously thought this was related to how out of my goddamn mind I was. But during this song called Fluff's Travels, which is a brilliant, beautiful, orchestrated piece of music, I look up and there's like lightning that's literally like, it's like it would come down like it's gonna strike, and then it would like curve back up to the clouds. It was like bouncing under the clouds, like heat lightning, like it's like hanging on to the precipitation in the air. And I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. And I was like, the human mind on poisonous fungus is like a magical thing. And then they go on set break, and half of my group decides to go to the bathroom, and the rest of us are like, all right, well, we're at this spot on the lawn where we've been the whole time. Set break goes by, and Fish set breaks are always like, all right, guys, we'll see you in 20 minutes. And then like
40 minutes later.
Right. So a long time has passed, and they haven't shown back up. And the lights go down, like set break is over. And then Paige just comes out, and he's like, hey, the weather is really awful. Everybody's got to go back to their cars, and like, we'll let you know when you can come back in. Mm-hmm. How? This is my question.
Has to be like a Deer Creek thing, because when I saw Fish at Deer Creek, all of a sudden the winds started gusting, and
well, are we sure this wasn't the same? Did Paige tell you to go back to your car?
No, because this was before the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and
then
also Deer Creek is in the middle of fucking Indiana, in like
Tornado Valley or
and
something.
shit. Well, even just that it's just flat land and not even very many buildings or anything around. Mm-hmm. So like the weather is more extreme there. That it's just, there's nothing to encumber the winds coming through or anything, But so we're all like, well, half of our group isn't here, and now we have to leave. How are we going to find them? But then one of us, who was most in control of their emotions and thoughts, was like, well, we're all going back to the same car. He said, everybody go back to your cars, so we'll find them there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that makes sense. We're walking back to our car, and I, like, the mindset that I was in at the moment, I was so worried about never finding the people that I came with, like, again in my life, that I'm walking through, like, crowds of people, everybody going back to the car with both of my hands, like, on my face, like Macaulay Culkin, and just going, oh no, what if we don't find them? Like, what's gonna happen? Like,
you were saying this out loud?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
And
because like I would think that was hilarious,
and it was. and like I said, I'm with like family members, and they're like, we will find them. Stop. Why are you doing this? Well, we get back to the car. They do not. The other people that we're waiting for do not show up to the car. Uh-huh. And so then I'm like, I was doing oh no in a sea of people walking out. Yeah. So it was noticeable. Now we're sitting in a car in a parking lot at night with like me and 4 other people. And now I'm going, oh no, they didn't come back to the car. And they're all like, just stop. And then we hear the music start, like inside the amphitheater again. We're like, shit, I guess you can go back in.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk in there, and by now, the way like concert security and stuff works, at the beginning of a show, they have people that are hired just to be ticket takers, just to pat you down and stuff.
Right.
Well, when the show gets evacuated and then re-let in,
is it like
those people are gone now. So anyone who didn't have a ticket to the show earlier can now just walk in.
Right.
People are bringing in coolers. People are bringing in dogs. Like, it's just whoever the fuck's ready to get down for second set, get in here.
Nice.
Go back. Immediately find the people we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Great second set. And now I'm like, everything worked out. And, you know, the universe has an eye out for me. It's like taking care of me.
Yeah.
And on our way out, I'm like, I literally, as we're walking out, I said out loud, I'm so hungry right now. And then someone 10 feet away goes, Veggie Burritos. And I was like, yeah. Buy this $5 Veggie Burrito. And like, I am walking, give them the money and grab the burrito and continue walking. Like, it's that quick of a transaction. Unwrap it, and it's like one of those like green tortillas, like, you know.
Yeah.
Heady, dude. But I take a bite out of it. You know what they meant by Veggie Burritos? Is it was garlic instant mashed potatoes inside of a fucking tortilla. That's all that was in there. And so I had just been like, you know what? The universe is like looking out for me. And here's a Veggie Burrito. And I took a bite out of it and I was like, fuck that. And I like threw it. I was like, it immediately like turned my whole prerogative on the whole situation. It's like, you know what? Sometimes everything works out for the best in the end. I took a bite out of this shit and I was like, fuck everybody at this show. I'm angry and tripping. Get out of my way. I need to go have a meltdown in a car.
And you've never been the same since.
I know. Dude, I do not trust anything in a green tortilla. Like, nice try, asshole. I've had Hungry Jack.
At least it wasn't like false advertising. It was vegetables inside of that green tortilla.
Yeah, root vegetables and like processed version at that.
Yeah.
You didn't mash these by hand.
These were flakes at one point.
Yeah. You just gave me garlicky dandruff. Fucking tortilla. What a ripoff.
Oh, man.
You know, but I guess technically it all worked out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
As you would hope. It, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that I have had those moments a lot where it just kind of falls into place, even especially after freaking out for a while.
No, yeah, it's the moments when you're confident it will fall into place. Mm-hmm. Then somebody's mad at you at the end of it. You know,
right?
But when you're like, maybe this won't work out, then it does work out in the perfect way, and you're like, see, knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't know it.
It's like the universe is reminding you that not only does it have your back, but
don't get full of yourself, asshole.
Don't get full of yourself, but also party professional.
Yeah. I mean, that brings us to our story, our Animals Anonymous story for the week, in which, you know, this gentleman just went with the flow. Mm-hmm. Trusted that the substances he was on and the universe around him and some wonderful girl with joints and a magical glove would provide in the end. So we're gonna go over to Mr. Clyde Longfellow now to hear what he has to say and his experience in this matter. It is now time for our Animals Anonymous Storyteller of the Week. We have our very good friend, Mr. Clyde Longfellow, in the studio to tell us.
Howdy, y'all.
So, Clyde, what do you got for us?
Well, there was a stretch of time where every time I ended up at a show, and we all have that one friend that does it, just gets lost. Every single time. You turn your back on for a second, gone. Well, that was me for a stretch of time.
Yeah.
The one most memorable of such occurrences was a fish show at where was that? Northerly Island. And this was a show where they cut the first set short because of a torrential downpour.
Yes.
And I walked in with a friend of mine, and he says, I'm gonna go grab some water. All right, perfect. I'll go grab beers. Grab beers, turn around, gone. According to him, I was one that was MIA.
Right. Both of you are the person who went missing in a horror movie.
Well,
You're like, turn around and your friend's not there.
But he managed to find the group of 20 people that we were there to meet up.
Touche. So now you're the one. Now it really looks like it's you.
Yeah, so, and we always have a rule. Once the show starts, you look for everyone for one song, and you just figure it out from there. Well, look forward for one song, and, there was some paper and, some other things involved to had me a little, off my game, we'll say. So I'm wandering around, and, now the paper's starting to take hold, and find this girl with an LED glow. Immediately, I'm over it. I'm done looking for one.
Yeah. Oh my God, I have a new best friend.
Yeah, you have my attention.
Will you wave in my face?
Yeah. Not only is she fucking with me because she caught me just staring at her gloves. Then she pulls out joints, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is where I'm hanging out for the show. And then we get towards the end of the first set, rain starts coming down, people are running towards shelter, and I'm like, should probably go look for everyone. And then it started really coming down. I saw somebody who had a tarp in the lawn, and they now had it over their head, and, let me just sneak in here with a group of 25 strangers. Pretty socially distant, let me tell you. This is
a different time. Yeah.
This is a different world, and everything was fine. I'm like, I'll bat down the hatches because one of the corners was blown away. And
you guys need me.
Yeah.
You have to play it off like I'm helping everybody by hiding
help this
in here.
situation out.
Yeah.
And everything was fine until I tried to smoke a cigarette under the tarp. And now we're hotboxing my Marlboro Red, and a group of 20 people in about a 6x6 square.
And you're trying to hide in there and just blend in with the crowd, and all of a sudden they're like, who the fuck's smoking in here? And they look and it's the one guy they don't know that's tripping balls.
Yeah, so luckily at that point, as they were like, yeah, you gotta go, and I was like, oh, cool, the rain lit up anyway, and just went on my way.
Thanks a lot, suckers.
Yeah, hey, thanks for helping out. Although I was holding down one of the corners, rain was running right down my arm. One side of me was completely drenched. So then I'm like, oh shit, now my phone's gonna be all wet. I really hope I can manage to get, because we took the L from Buddy's condo. And now the second set's going, I looked for him during the set break once the rain let up, then I come back out, I'm like, well, I guess we'll just figure this out after the show. So, now finding more joints, and, people are, at the fish show, there's plenty of things around to partake in, and
I'm already lost. I might as well
enjoy it.
Shit. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I think I remember the train station we went to. No idea which direction to take the train. But we'll figure that out after the show.
Definitely been there.
So we're walking, and I'm listening to the show, we're jamming out. It was a good one, other than I did a weird Harpua thing with
the Second City.
Oh God, it was miserable.
Quick side story.
Please.
My whole life, when my mom would take me to fish shows when I was a kid. My very first fish show, she was like, what song do you want to hear? And I said, Feet. And she was like, they never play that song. They played it that show. And my mom was like, holy shit. All right, well, what's the next song you're chasing? And this is, I'm 10 years old. I'm like Esther, because I just loved that whole first album. As a kid, I just remember
It's killer.
dancing around that shit. And she was like, okay, well, they never play that song. My second show, they played that song. And my mom's like, this kid's fucking paying out. Like, hey, what's next, you know? And I was like, Harpua. And that was, 20 plus years ago. And I never heard of Harpua. And that show, I was supposed to be at it, but then Fresh Hops had a gig we were in Colorado, and they were like, they finally played Harpua and you weren't there. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I listened back to it, and it was that Second City bullshit. And I was like, I'm still upset, but that kind of would have been a slap in the face if I finally got that song I had been chasing for 2 decades.
I wish I missed it.
And you're like, I kind of did.
That's fair. But I remember being like, what the fuck is going on up there? Like, what is this? Go away. I came for a fish show, not whatever the fuck you're calling this.
I came here for a fish show, not some goofy, dorky bullshit.
You even start taking suggestions from the crowd and do some improv up there? What the fuck? So, we get through that, and now the show's coming to a close. We're like, all right, no, wait, no.
Now it's down to the wire.
No,
like, okay, this whole problem I put off on That's Later Me's issue, and now I'm Later Me.
Yeah, so we're getting close to the encore, and I'm like, oh man, I should try to make a phone call or something. Looked at my phone, icons are moving all over the place. I just needed to just go back in the pocket. It wasn't happening. The phone call wasn't meant to be. So, now we're almost, okay, encore is really running down. I'm like, alright. But I got a 6th spot, I still got LED gloves next to me, we're smoking joints, managed to run back into her. Still haven't found one of the 20 people that were at the show in our entire group. Haven't seen one of them. And now the show ends. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, wait. What train station are we at? And then I'm like, don't follow the group. Maybe I'll fucking find someone. And I get out there, and there's it's a massive humanity just roaming the streets, doing all sorts of whatever. And I think I find the street. I'm like, I don't really know. And then off in the distance, as with the past weeks, I hear oh, I know that sound. And now I'm like, train station? What train station?
Yeah.
I need to find where the hell that's coming from.
Let me go clear my head with a couple
I need to find where
words.
that's coming from. So I see a train station. Pretty confident it's the right one. But the alley right before the stairs to go up to the L, I find the tank. Now I'm like, oh man, alright, just get one real quick. We'll just be done with it. And, and then I'll go up to the train station. I'll figure out. Well, $50 later, about a half hour later, I'm like, oh shit, train, that's right. I still have a full blue in my hand. My shirt is tied around my head so I don't lose it. Because it was soaking wet, so I was like, it's a t-shirt.
You were being responsible.
It's a
I
t-shirt,
got you.
so it's not like I could tie it around my waist.
No.
So I tie it around so I got no shirt on, I got a balloon, and the owner of this building comes out into the alley because there's 40 hippies sitting there all spun out on nitrous, and then he starts screaming, saying he's calling the cops. I'm like, oh, seems like.
And then the nitrous mafia goes, "We are the cops," and he was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, they were not intimidated. Like, I think 3 people moved. Like, I was already on my way out of the alley back towards the train station, but there was no quick scurry.
A guy in a fishing hat with a face tattoo was like, "Get back in your house, old man."
Chicago,
like, oh shit.
Yeah, Chicago PD's got bigger shit to do than that. So now, no shirt, tie around my head, balloon in my hand, walking up the stairs to the L. There's people that are like, working in suits, they got briefcases and shit. I'm like, boy, do I feel out of fucking place. And let me tell you, walk up the stairs, it was the most gratifying thing ever. See my buddy who I came with, and 3 of the other guys, and they're like, we've been trying to call you for about 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, is that what that noise was? I thought somebody else's phone was ringing.
I thought that was the buzzing inside of my head from all the nitrous. Turns out it was my phone on vibrate.
They're like, where the fuck have you been? I'm like, fuck you. You bailed on me. It's like, no, I got waters and went right back to where we were at. And you were fucking gone. You never even came back to the spot. I'm like, oh, that was the meeting place? I thought you were going to just, like, it just organically was going to just work out.
I thought you were also going to see the girl with the LED glove, and that's where we were going to meet.
That was the meeting place.
Yeah, no, there was a beacon. I mean, what did you want from me?
Yeah. And that's the beauty of those situations is even though you didn't meet up at the place that clearly in retrospect is hindsight's 2020.
The best place to go back to.
Right.
Where we left one another.
But even despite
all
of
those
that,
calls, all this stuff,
like,
and it still worked out.
Sometimes people are like, the universe was like, this is where you're supposed to you were meant to be here. The universe was like, throw this fucking ding dong a bone, and you did end up where you were supposed to be.
My brother. Oh, well.
Were they about to leave you?
Well,
they were waiting for the train. I'm imagining they were gonna say
I was gonna get to the train.
Right.
Like I said, this wasn't like a one-time occurrence where like immediately I went missing. So there was some confidence within the group that I would reemerge at some point.
Yeah.
And this was like the 11th hour, like, holy shit, he pulled through with it. Like, they were like, maybe this is the time he doesn't come through with the miracle. And then you did right when they started it out.
And then as soon as I saw them, I didn't even walk right up to them and start having a conversation. I saw them, started laughing my ass off, sat down on a bench, did the last balloon that I still had in my hand in the train station. So it was, a little wonky, and then I walked up, and they're like, really? Really? I said, oh, what was the last one? I couldn't get on the train with it. They're like, I'm honestly shocked you didn't try. Well, that's neither here nor there, but I made it. And then, turns out, I wasn't even the worst case there, because during the torrential downpour, somebody fell into a K-hole right when they were playing Wilson. This person had a 2-syllable name, so when they were chanting Wilson, everyone was chanting this girl's name. She came to during the second set and looked around at everyone completely drenched and muddy and had the audacity to say, did it rain?
No, some guy spilled a shitload of beers on everybody.
And I just couldn't keep it together. I'm like, see, you guys worry about me? I had LED gloves there, we were smoking joints, it was all good.
Right.
They're like, yeah, how the fuck did you find the train station? I'm like, well, see, that's the fun. No idea.
Talent.
I couldn't, at that point, from the train station, I couldn't get back to the venue. There's no way in hell I would have made it back. And I'm like, all you gotta do is walk towards water. You'll see it.
Like, honestly, guys, if you want to be more impressed by the situation, the only way I found this train station was following the sound of nitrous. So,
and there was no,
God works in mysterious ways.
There was no real shock or surprise on that notion either. It was pretty ridiculous. But, like I said, it wasn't a uncommon thing for me to just go MIA and then magically reappear as everything was, all hope was being lost. But yeah, that fish show, that fucking harpooner though, like, fucking oh god, those are nuts.
Yeah, and despite the downpour, despite the horrible harpooner, you managed to overcome all odds and find your group and make it out the other end as a real party professional. I'm proud of you, Clyde.
I'm proud, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
You know, and somebody else was having such a great time. They waited for the train with us, and then when we got on the train, they ran down the stairs and ran 3 miles back to the house and beat us there.
All right, we're at the train. I'll see you guys later.
When I tell you who it is off mic, you will not be surprised.
No, I'm sure I will not. Well, Mr. Longfellow, thank you for coming and sharing that amazing story of overcoming all adversity with us.
Oh, it was the least that I could do. Thank you, fellas, for having me.
Yep. All right. Well, we are going to go on to our songwriter and musician of the week. So, Mr. Mark.
There's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going. There's no knowing where we're rowing or which way the river's flowing. Hello there, I'm Sean, one of the behind-the-scenes dudes with Fishhook Studios. What are your thoughts on CBD? Have you ever enjoyed non-psychoactive cannabinoids? If not, let me tell you about them. CBD is amazing. I've never been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I suffer from acute anxiety. I enjoy smoking CBD, but you can use oils, topicals, or cartridges. CBD is a light, calming, and natural product you should start integrating into your daily regimen. So how can you do that? Well, you can do that with Hemp Streets. Hemp Streets is an online retailer for all things CBD. And if you're interested in CBD and you'd like to support this podcast, use offer code HOOK at hempstreets.com and receive 15% off your entire purchase. Now, let's get back to the fucking show.
All right. Well, so this is an interesting turn of events. Last week, our Animals Anonymous storyteller decided at the end that he just really wanted to get that story off of his chest, and had us turn off our real high-tech voice filtering software so he could come clean and say who he was in reality. And I figured, for that good deed, let it not go unpunished. So this week I decided to bring him back as our musical guest so he can share some of the good he's brought into the world, as opposed to some of the accidental casual racism he may have brought into the world. So our starving artist spotlight this week is Mr. Marc Adrian. How are you?
Oh, I'm supposed to say hi. I'm good.
Did he say that right? Because I've always wondered.
Kinda. Quagliera.
Oh, okay.
Adrian. We go with Marc Adrian, remember?
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
Okay, well, but I thought we weren't fucking around with fake names.
It's not a fake name. It's my middle name. It's part of my name.
All right. Well, anyway.
It's what the people know me as.
This was a huge mistake. I don't know why we've done this to ourselves. No, Mark, he's played in many bands and throughout the years in the area. He was most notably in a band called Groovitron that many of the gentlemen in my band and our friends would go see in a coffee shop when they were underage and couldn't get into other shows, and played around the area, and obviously played, bigger festivals like Bonnaroo and such.
We didn't do Bonnaroo.
You didn't? Come
No.
on. I thought
No.
you headlined last year. They were the
don't
only
remember
people
doing
that showed up
Yeah,
to
we showed up
Bonnaroo
to
2020, and there was no one there.
But we did headline.
Yeah. But yeah, so how you doing today, Mark?
I'm good, man. Good.
Mark and I had a long night at a VFW in Cal City last night.
Yeah, that's the life of a rock and roll musician, man.
Yep.
Hanging out at VFWs till 2 a.m.
Yeah, and
Stuff legends are made of.
truly.
Bet you had a drummer last night.
We did. It was awesome. He played drums.
So, Mark, what kind of we like to have our musical guest talk about how you have found a way to deal with musician life on our level. When you're not
Blue collar.
Beyonce. Yeah, blue collar music.
Blue collar musicians,
Yeah.
which or the music middle class. I like that terminology.
Yeah.
Is that where it's at?
I think so. I don't know.
Like we were saying, you're like, all right, well, if I'm going to decide that this is a job, they're not all going to be, headlining gigs at my favorite venues or something. And sometimes you're like, I'm a steady Monday at a VFW. Yep.
That works. Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of it. So, I mean, I guess throughout the years it's changed. Like earlier, I taught music for a long time to help
Yeah.
pay the bills doing that, and then I play on the weekends and sometimes during the week. But more recently, I decided to stop teaching because I was kind of just burnt out on it. And I don't know how I've done it. You know what?
And honestly,
I kept my overhead low. I'll tell you that much. That was a big part of it. So
that is I mean, for the people that, a lot of people do make that decision that like, okay, I'm going to try and do music for a living and can't hang, you know, but the people that do it for the long haul, that is the running theme and answer is like, I don't know how I did it. And it's kind of like, I'm so just really good at this thing and like not thrilled about doing anything else that I'll be like hungry or something.
yeah, exactly. You know? Like I'd rather, I always say like I'd rather be poor and happy than, rich and I don't know, doing something happy. Yeah. You know, honestly, and it's really like the last couple of years have been pretty good for me. Like I've done okay, but before that, I don't know. I just struggled a lot. I would make ends meet by selling stuff on eBay. Not like my personal goods, but I'd go flip stuff.
Yeah.
Like whatever I had to hustle was. So I would do that. I mean, I definitely took gigs along the way that I would have maybe not chose to play.
Yeah, you just played with me last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm married, so I had the support of my wife, which helped.
That is
so part of what you got to do is drag other people down with you.
right. You just got to find some benevolent sucker that loves you, and that's
helpful. It's really helpful.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Like it's I guess if I try to like write this out on a timeline and see all the crap I did to make life work, but by the time I was 25, I didn't do anything but music, so I was just teaching, and I was pretty happy there. I was like, okay, good.
Right.
My whole goal was don't do anything but music, right? And then I pretty much got there outside of the side hustle of hawking used video games on eBay and stuff. But it was actually kind of fun. I like doing that. But
well, it's also like, it sounds very self-serving to be like, I decided to do, I just don't want to do anything but music because obviously that is what makes us happiest. Mm-hmm. But like people don't get that, like we said, you are like hustling constantly to make that happen. And also it's the most good I'm going to do in the world. Like we're intelligent people. When I've had other normal job, right.
You are.
But we're intelligent enough to go, when someone says we're intelligent people. If you're really an idiot, you're like, I'm smart guy.
I'm smart.
But so like, I'm sure you've had this when I work a regular job. You should do you want to train to be a manager or something? I'm like, no, I'm actually probably just gonna quit this randomly on a whim to play one gig.
Yep.
So we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I definitely passed up opportunities to rank up in other jobs.
Right, but then also like the most good I'm going to bring into the world is through doing this.
Yeah, well, I also need to like maintain like a certain amount of mental health.
Right, for you, but I'm saying even for other people,
how do you
no
do
matter
that,
how
though?
good I am at this other job, like no matter how good I am at fucking, being the manager of a Shakey's Pizza, I'm never going to make anyone as happy as I'm going to make some idiot on my worst night of playing. Like some guy's going to be like, oh my God, that was the best version of, Down by the River I ever heard. And you're like in your head, like, I blew that. I ruined it, but okay. Like on my worst night at this job, I still did more good than I would do at my best night at another job.
My perception too. Like I know when I'm playing, like whether or not I'm feeling it, but I also know that I don't have any like real perspective on it, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm when I think I'm playing bad or the band is off, like the real discrepancy is between what I think it should be and what's happening. Whereas an audience member has the advantage of only knowing what's happening. So, like, we played a show the other night on Friday, and we played, like, Squeeze Box by The Who, and I was like, it was terrible, right? In my head, it's just the worst. I was like, oh, this is all wrong. And then I listened back to it, because I recorded some of it, and I I was like, it was not great, but it was definitely fine.
It comes back to
Oh,
the whole
fine.
like
That-
you being your own worst critic, you
Yeah.
know, and that applies. I feel like to musicians too, and I feel like be
Any-
a little easier on
But
yourself.
you know what? You need that impulse though, because here's the trick of it. Like, and
Like if you're like a really good cop and you're like, I'm never gonna fuck up, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna live forever, and you run into a dangerous situation, like, well, I've never been shot yet. Then you can get shot. Like the better you are at it, you have to have that impulse of like, this could go wrong at any minute, and that's why you're so good at it.
and like people, like the people who support you, and like your friends and your family, who obviously they're great, but you cannot get real feedback from these people. Like, so if I'm recording, I don't want to get the feedback from like my wife, or I mean I do. I mean I'll hear it, but generally speaking, people are going to be supportive and they're going to be nice.
Oh.
And so you have to criticize yourself.
That my
Am I wrong
experience.
there?
No. I feel like for most people that is the correct experience. But like my mom and aunt, they're like the biggest music appreciators and also the biggest music snobs that I've ever known in my life, and they will straight up be like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
That's a blessing.
And like
though,
it really has been
like to have somebody who will give you straight up what they're thinking without the filter of I'm your whatever friend or whatever is amazing. And I've actually had people come up to me after shows that I don't know and critique me, and then I've had like in front of people I do know, and then as soon as they go away, that person my friend will be
What
like,
an asshole.
That guy's a jerk, and then I'll be like, no, that was great. Like you would never tell me the things this guy was thinking. If he's hearing something, I'm going to take it into consideration. I'm not going to just believe everyone either.
Right.
Well, the other upside of the way my family is, then when they are like, that was awesome, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I did it, dude. Like that, it's like that I know that really was good,
Right. But I mean, that's like the power too. Like with some people, like you play with people and they're not super complimentary. And then one day they're like, wow, that was really great. It means so much more than somebody who's constantly like, oh, everything you do is amazing. Like, that's great too. I like that. But, I definitely, I look for the critics in my life.
Stefan and I are so much like that, we've played together for, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We played so many shows together. It's never like, hey man, you killed it tonight, because I know you kill it. And also like, I know you well enough that whatever upset me is like some real, like spiteful shit. Like it's like something that just
and he probably
I
knows
know
what it is too.
Like, and on both ends, from him to me, like I know it's like the things that upset us about each other is like some shit that like I know doesn't really matter, but I've just noticed this idiosyncrasy about you that like I've secretly been like, oh, this again, like, and other people apparently love it. So why are we gonna create this static between each other? So when you guys were doing the Groovitron thing full time, were you all doing that full time?
I mean, everybody
was invested in it.
Yeah,
but there
everybody
was a
had some
side
sort of
hustle.
job on the side, but we all made sure our jobs were super flexible and would accommodate whatever we had to do. Though there were times where we'd play in like Carbondale, which is like a 5.5 hour drive or something, and then somebody'd be like, I got work at 9. We'd be like, oh, great. So then we'd have to
are we
drive
gonna drop
5.5
you off at your job?
And it wasn't
or?
me, because I made sure my jobs didn't start till like 3.
Right.
So it was like, okay, I guess I'm staying awake until 9 in the morning so I can get you home in time, like that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody was all in. We had a solid 13 years of an incredible amount of dedication where we were practicing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, unless we were playing shows, which we played a decent amount of weekday shows, but we got together and played one way or another 6 nights out of the week, almost that whole time, for 13 years. So we were tight, like we knew our songs. We didn't, know the right way to write a song necessarily. You know what I mean? Like we did. I mean, the technical way, but we had our thing and we developed it.
Right, and it's leaning into that.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Dinosaur Jr. last night.
Right.
That like if you see any of the guys play by themselves, it's like what the fuck? You've been playing music for, I would just assume like 40 years, and you've been doing it professionally for like 35, and you still like it's a bummer when I see you by yourself, but then you hear it together and they all are like
just
it
the
works
right
together, but also even that I used to have it with like me and Kevin when we were like the rhythm section of Hobbs, like we would have people be like, you guys are the tightest rhythm section I've ever seen. Yeah, because we're both just so locked into each other that we're wrong in the same way.
Yeah.
We would fuck up in the exact same way, and it sounded like, whoa, that's great. And that's what that kind of practicing all the time, it doesn't matter if technically if you looked at it on sheet music or whatever, someone might be like, that's not how you write a song, that's not how you put something together, but when you hear it and all those people are of one mind, it's so impressive.
When it's coordinated and everybody's in sync, it doesn't really matter what the rules should or would be normally. It just works. I mean, there's so many bands that are like that too, where like everything they're doing seems kind of, like Ween's a great example. Like everything they did, especially early on, it just seems wrong. But like they're like they understand what they're doing,
the cohesion,
and eventually it works for some reason. Like eventually people caught on and went like, yeah, this is awesome. And that's also, I think, how you develop like a sound. Where like there's so many bands that just sound like somebody else. You can clearly go, oh, they're influenced by this one band or these two bands, and it's more fun for me to listen to music where I'm like, I don't know who they were listening to growing up.
Or also like I've seen so many bands where each individual member is phenomenal at what they do, but the group product is not impressive.
The supergroups,
it's like, dude,
almost never work.
You're all just jerking off on stage right now, but no one's jerking off together.
Yeah, you gotta do it in sync.
I don't want to see 5 dudes jerking off on stage. I want to see 5 dudes making sweet love to each other on stage.
Yeah, if it's done right, everybody should have to eat the biscuit when you're done. Right? Like.
Speaking of Limp Bizkit.
Anyways, so talking about that too, like with when I was playing with Groovitron, I think after a while I started kind of like playing with other bands a little bit, and they were like cover bands, and I thought I was a pretty solid guitar player, and then I was playing these like cover songs of like just whatever classic rock and old stuff mostly, and I realized like, oh, the way I play guitar does not work.
Right.
It does not work on other music, and I have to like basically learn how to play guitar again to accommodate normal music, which I'm still working on. Like,
with anything in music, you're always going to be working on it forever. But I know exactly what you. Look at me, as in Fresh Hops, my bass playing a 7-string bass, wanting to play chords to shit like it. Fresh Hops doesn't make sense without that, but then in other situations that doesn't make sense.
I mean, if you were in a Skynyrd cover band, it wouldn't work.
Right.
You couldn't even handle it.
I would hate it, and they would be like, "That's not how the bass goes." But
line,
we're gonna kick out one of our lead guitar players, and you can do that because you're better than that guy.
You're like, don't worry about the bass line, guys. I got the lead guitar part and the bass and a bass line.
You're like, thank God, because the rest of us are just a bunch of simple men. So, well, Mark, I think we're gonna have you play a couple songs here for us.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I would, we end out the episode with our musician guest playing some songs, and
does Brendan ever talk on these things, or
yeah, sometimes
he does, but usually the musical guest it's more me like nerding out with them, and Brandon's like,
I say things here and there, and try to sometimes too.
That's good job, man. But we didn't even have our beard scratching contest.
Oh, son of a gun!
Wow.
Yeah, so we're gonna have Mark play some songs, and that'll wrap out our episode here today. I want to say thank you to Sean and Fish here from Fishhook Studios for recording this and putting it out as usual, because we don't know how to do that shit. And yeah, just remember, some people like us, most people don't. I give you Marc Adrian.
Do I intro it? Do I say the name of the song?
Sure.
Just so you guys know.
On this podcast, we clap at the end of the song.
Oh, really? Okay. This song is called Isn't It? And I wrote it all by myself. No, I messed it up already. We can edit that. No, never mind. Got it. I got it. Doesn't anybody here hear the point that I'm making? I feel like I'm crazy, or maybe you're just faking it, isn't it? I know, I'm that bad at this. No, the screen turned off, and I was like, I know I'm gonna get lost right in the middle.
I was gonna get up. If that happens again, I won't.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't think anybody would notice. It's fine. It stayed up for way longer than the song is. It's just we talked a bunch. You should leave all this in. Let everybody know how unprofessional and unprepared I am. This is what you get when you order Marc Adrian at the sandwich shop. Yeah. Look at you in the computer settings. Wow. Don't you make sure you undo that stuff, or you're gonna have computer burn, screen burn, right? Okay, I'll shut up. I'm gonna shut up. Doesn't anybody here hear the point that I'm making? I feel like I'm crazy, or maybe you're just faking it, isn't it? Intricate. Why can't you understand that there's no one to blame for the things that were said, or the way that they came forth, isn't it? Intimate. Have their value, but there's no one to set it. I told you how I feel, but I can tell you don't get it. Oh, isn't it limited? When I left you a message, it was absent of tone. But the way that you flip me when you are alone makes me out to be some sort of asshole, and I don't appreciate it. Till I say it is. I'm not the only one here who thinks the speech that you're making is not worth the breath or the time that it's taking. Oh, isn't it impotent? Well, I dare you to match me, I defy you to try. Oh, your pain is so gorgeous, I could just die. Oh, isn't it intimate? my mind was whittling while I heard your wandering words and I saw you burst into a smile. Oh, isn't it? Oh, it's just so fabulous. There's a certain kind of kindness I don't think you understand. I thought the silence was behind us, but you'll be bitter to the end. Oh, isn't it? Intimate. Oh, thank you. I messed it up pretty bad, though. It could be worse. I just missed some chords or whatever. It's not a big deal. It's the sexy part of playing live. You know, it's when... It's when, you know, like anytime... Yeah, exactly. Well...
People that get it, they're like, he tried?
I tried a lot. No, I mean, I could have tried harder.
Why would you have nailed it? It's not like you wrote it.
You know, it's like you turn the red. It's like the red light syndrome, right? As soon as I know I'm being recorded, like my brain does this thing, right?
And that is a common thing. A lot of people have that. Actually, twice during the album we're recording right now,
Yep.
Marty is a bad sufferer of red light fever, but he's great. So twice, I can't believe he was able to pull it off a second time, but he was like going to record a solo, and he was like, "Can I just hear it through one time before we record?"
Mm-hmm.
And I just recorded while he thought he was doing
Yep.
a playthrough, and then I let him do the takes afterward, and he kept, because now he's judging himself.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So he kept being like, "Oh no, I fucked that up, and I was like, "Okay, well, I have that first take you thought I wasn't recording. Let's listen to that." And it was like great, you know. That's red light fever it's a problem.
It's a thing, man.
That being said,
You guys,
are recording.
I know. You guys want to participate a little bit in this one?
Sure.
This one's supposed to have backups, but I can't do it myself. So if you could just yell in the room, I'm gonna say, "I'll be damned," when he says, or what the hell is it? Oh, I was damned when he made me. I just want you to go, "I'll be damned," right after I say it.
Okay.
I'll kind of, whatever. It might not work. Who cares? Doesn't matter. All right, here's a song. It's called "I Was Broke." I probably still am. Well, I was broke when he made me. I was broke all along. So even if he fixed me, put together wrong, it's a miracle you love me. It's a miracle I think. I didn't even see it coming. It all happened in a blink. And it was broke when he made it. It was broke from the start. So even if you loved me, I got a broken heart. It's a miracle I function. It's a miracle I breathe. No, I can't see it pumping, but I can feel the beat. Some people say that life is just a place you'll find love, and love will show you that there's nothing more to say. Look for tomorrow's hope and you'll come up empty-handed. Live in the moment and it's all that you can take. Live in the moment and it's all that you can. Well, I was broke when he made me, and I was broke all along. Even if he fixed me, I'm put together wrong. It's a miracle you love me. It's a miracle, I think. I didn't even see it coming. It all happened in a blink. And I was damned when he made me. I'm damned all along. And asked him to save me. And this is what he said. He told me he'd forgive me if I only ask. Life is for the living, so wait until I'm dead. Life is for the living, so wait until I'm dead.